How is everybody doing today? Welcome to Thursday Night with Pineapple. I'm your host, Terrence Ramsey, Mr. Pineapple himself. My co-host, Maxwell, in the background. So he got his neo-soul vibes going on, too. He got his glasses going on. So we about to have an amazing night tonight. Listen, you gotta let this, we're gonna mellow this out a little bit tonight. We got the neo-soul coffee shop type spoken word theme tonight. So we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna get your mind blown. We're gonna bring some heat to the table, along with some passion, some expertise, some vision, some calmness, some mellowness, some coffee shop, some tea, some donuts, all that stuff that you would get at a spoken word. Casual feeling, clean cut brothers and sisters, mingling and mixing amongst each other, taking their mind off a little bit of problems, anxiety, trials and tribulations, putting you in a place of peace. This is what the artists do. I'm an artist as well. Not so much a spoken word artist, but a visual artist, fine artist, painter, sculptor, visionary. These are the things that I do. So I'm going to give you a little bit of updates about RBC. If you don't know what RBC is the Royal Blossom Company. The Royal Blossom Company is founded by myself, Mr. Pineapple. Also, the mission of this brand is to restore, build, create, to restore all the wealth and resources back into our communities, to build up the youth and children that are coming behind us, to create a unique commonwealth of like-minded entrepreneurs, to put them back in a God-given purpose and talents. And our brand values is to have fun, be spirited, and be passionate about everything that you do. So without further ado, I'm going to give you these updates about this phenomenal brand that's doing a lot of things for this community. One of the main things that we're working on and planning is a brand release party, which is going to consist of many things that's coming out in the fall and winter collections. Okay, so we're also going to be doing some things on the upcoming Fashion Week. Our road to Paris, Milan, New York, LA, Texas, all these different places. So we're going to be doing these things, and then we want you to be a part of in November. Okay, so once we drop those knobs, get on the email subscriber list. So go to the website www.royalblossomcommunity.co or Right Brand Clothing, www.rightbrandclothing.com. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Okay, subscribe to the YouTube page, Royal Blossom 2018. So that's a little bit of the updates we're gonna have for today. So without further ado, so let's go into some poetry, some spoken word, some audience, some vibes tonight. Okay, so I got an artist tonight. I got a poet on the line today. So that's why I'm talking the way that I'm talking. So just to give you that coffee shop vibes, the spoken word vibes. Okay, so without further ado, I want to talk to you about this gentleman by the name of King Soul. So he out there ministering to souls with this entrepreneurialism, his words of encouragement, his words of enlightenment, his words that's going to change your outlook in society. Okay, so to take your minds off your everyday stresses, problems, and trials and tribulations. But just know that God is always going to be with you through all your trials and tribulations. So without further ado, I would like to bring up my boy, King Soul himself. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, my brother, everything is everything, man. You gonna talk me up big time, man. You gonna talk me up big time.
Yes, sir, man. Listen, we like to have some fun here, okay? So this is what we do. Look, I had to get you. You know, I had to get you. I had to come get you.
No, you did. Like you hitting words and and he doing this and that. And I'm just sitting here like, oh man, I'm gonna make sure I'm the right person.
Look, listen, I gotta look, I'm an artist too. I can do spoken word too, a little bit. Like
I
I
believe.
don't really do it, I haven't practiced on it, but you know, I'm an all around artist. So, you know,
Yeah. No,
so
I'm with it, bro.
right.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. I love it. You made me feel good coming on here. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, like I like see, look, let me explain something. They don't know what angle I'm coming at this podcast. They get something different every week. It ain't nothing the same thing. It's not close to the same. We're gonna have different. It's different. It's just different. They was expecting this though. They wasn't expecting this.
The team up, they ain't know they need it.
They need this.
Yes, sir.
So tell us, Eric. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
King Soul, Kelvin Dupree by government. Don't use it unless I'm in trouble. And even then, don't use it. Call me Craig or something. Born, born and raised Tampa, Florida. I love my city. I do, venture out from time to time to visit other places, but Tampa, Florida is my home. It's where I've been. It's where I'm gonna be buried. So I got people in South Carolina. My bad. I got to mention my South Carolina folks. I got people in South Carolina too. So if I'm not in Florida, I'm gonna be in South Carolina.
You're gonna be in South
Again,
Carolina.
Craig if I'm in trouble.
Okay,
King
so
Soul if you're trying to find me.
so you don't consider us. You don't want to go home to glory nowhere else. Just in Tampa, Florida.
Uh, I know this is where my plot is gonna be. This is where my bones gonna be laid. Wherever God take me in the meantime, I'm open to it. But I know this Tampa, Florida born birthed me. Tampa, Florida is gonna bury me.
I got you. I understand. So tell the audience, what would you consider your occupation?
My occupation, I will go by a spoken word artist.
Okay.
I use my words to encourage, incite, change perspective, help me heal. Um, so I would consider a speaker, orator. Better way to put that, just because it's not necessarily just spoken word. I do public speaking, I do workshops. So just being an orator is what I would consider myself to be.
Okay. And how long have you been in the spoken word artist industry? How long have you been doing poetry, writing, and public speaking?
Right, I've been writing since I was 15. Right, since I was 15. I wouldn't tell nobody. I wouldn't show nobody. When I turned 16, I tried to be a rapper. Whole different story for a whole different time. But getting into spoken word was about 8 years ago. I started writing specifically poetry for spoken word. A year after that, I got an opportunity from a guy. Shout out to Martin Lee. He hit me up like, hey, I'm doing this poetry event. I don't really know no poets. I heard that you were thinking about, doing some spoken word. And I was like, yeah, I think, because when you get a task like that, it's kind of, you don't always accept it at first. You get that. For me, I'm a little nervous. I don't know how many of us on here is socially awkward, but that'd be me sometimes. So I got that opportunity. I stood on stage for the first time, scariest feeling in the world. Ran through my poem so fast that a 3 minute poem was done in like 2:20. Like I don't even know if they heard anything I said that night, but I knew once I got off that stage, this is something that I want to do. This is something I need to do. This is something that I would consider purposeful for me in my life. So for the last 7 years, I've been hopping on and off stages, in and out of bars and coffee shops, just spitting these words.
Got you. So when you said a lot of artists are like socially awkward, that is true. A lot of artists be so introverted into themselves, and they always in the chambers to where they don't want to be judged by their work. They don't want to look funny. They don't want to sound like they funny because I got an idea about this this spoken word, this poetry, this design, this drawing, this painting. They
Yep.
just don't know how to communicate because we think differently as artists. We just abstract. So they're not
Yeah.
gonna see it the way we see it. They're gonna see it. Ah, but the problem with us artists, now I would say this: the problem with us artists, we tend to make decisions for other people, and we don't even give them a chance to make a decision.
Mm, You gotta say that again for the people in the back, man.
Okay, so let me say it again. So the problem with artists, especially if they're introverted, they are us artists tend to be making decisions on our work. We make decisions for them. We don't even present the work. We just already rule it out
Yep.
to
Yep.
where oh they ain't gonna like it. You ain't even give them a chance to even hear it. We just rule it out. Oh they ain't gonna like it. It's garbage. And then when they
Yeah.
actually hear it, that's some of the best work that you've ever done in their ears because you never know what that person might need. You might be ministering to them. It might be something that they're looking for, and it could open up a door opportunity. But that's one of the main weaknesses in the artist. They just like they self doubt themselves.
I agree. And just to piggyback off that a bit, that's kind of how the journey started. Because even with that first opportunity to get on stage, the night before I was supposed to perform, I was doing everything in the world to talk myself out, doing that same thing that you're talking about. Like, hey, they not gonna like it. Ain't nobody heard me do this. They not gonna be feeling me. I never did this before. I probably shouldn't do it. Like I went as far as like I stopped at telling him I'm not gonna be there, but I was like at that point to where I was just about to shoot the text. Like I wasn't even finna call him. Like it was gonna be a text message like, hey dude, I can't do it. Like, but because we don't want to be judged, man. It's just we're giving so much of ourselves. We got to be so transparent. We got to be so honest. We got to be so giving with these things. With this thing, no matter what type of art you do, you're giving yourself. You're putting so much of yourself in it, and and a lot of people don't want to have that feeling of rejection or people don't like it because then you feel like they don't like you. Well, that's not the case. All art ain't for everybody, and that's true. But just because that one person didn't necessarily get what you was doing, you shouldn't stop everybody who will be able to get what you're doing.
That's true. So I mean, it's about it's stepping out of your comfort zone, meaning that doing things that's uncomfortable, that's where the growth is. There's no growth in the comfort zone. So in the comfort zone, you're very content where you're at, but you notice that you're plateaued wherever that you're stagnant. So it's like a heart monitor is up, down, up, down, up, down. So people looking at the downward slope instead of looking at the upward slope.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
want to make sure when you're doing that, you want to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, getting in front of those spoken word cafe events, going to the coffee shop where they doing the spoken word, going to the lounge, going there every day at 7 o'clock, every Thursday, being repetitive about that because you never know who might be in that room that might be able to take you to the next level. You
Yeah,
never know who your words may impact that night. So when you continue to do it, it's also showing consistency. It shows you that you've been working on your craft, and it shows that you're dedicated to what you do. It shows that you're trying to master your artistry, and it's showing that you're very serious about what you do because you never know. Because sometimes people look at how consistent you are, especially as an artist. No matter what part of the arts you're a part of, they always look at consistency.
so
So,
true.
and a lot of artists don't know how to consistently put themselves out there. And when they don't put themselves out there like that, they go broke because they don't know how to market and promote themselves because they in their shell.
Yep,
So you want to get out of your shell, brothers and sisters. Get out of your shell.
got to, got to, man. Like it's scary at first for sure. But once you like get out of that, once you start moving in the direction that you supposed to be moving in, like none of that stuff really matters. Like
Yeah,
none of it really. It's the hardest part is starting. once you start, you pretty much should take off from there. You just have to start.
Yep, yep, absolutely. So let me ask you this: what is spoken word and poetry? What does it mean to your soul?
That is a really good question. For me, the biggest thing I take from spoken word poetry in general, is healing. It means healing to me. There's a lot of past traumas that we all, as some shape or form, go through or been through, whether it's childhood, young adult, actual adult, because you grew up don't mean the trauma stopping. Like some people still trying to trauma you. Um, so healing is the number one thing. Every time I do these poems, every time I write something new, I always try to find something that I can heal from or heal through, like use for healing. I have a poem called glossophobia, which glossophobia is a fear of public speaking. So when I wrote that poem and performed it, no one believes that speaking in front of people scares me. But for me, it was a healing moment because it's like it did until I told you it scared me. Now that you know it scares me, it doesn't, it doesn't have that same strength. It doesn't have that same weight on me. Like when nobody knew I was suffering from this, it was heavy. Now everybody in this room know I'm suffering through it. We all can, help me lift this thing up off me. You know what I mean? So healing, without a doubt, is the first thing I take. Um, Expression is another thing. Being able to express yourself is very important, especially as adults. We need to be able to express ourselves, especially as black men, me and you. We need to be able to express ourselves because I don't know everyone's home situation or childhood situation, but in most cases, I know a lot of people I know ain't really have too many opportunities to express themselves when they was younger. So now we grow up these stone face assassins with no feelings or emotions. So like being able to actually express, like, look, this thing made me upset. This confused me. This has me perplexed. Like there's so a wide range of emotions that you need to be able to express, and I feel spoken word and poetry itself gives you that platform to express it. So I think those are definitely the top two things for me when it comes to what it means to me is healing and expression. Being able to heal from things and being able to express yourself so you're not internalizing and finding yourself in a real dark spot with all your thoughts and whatnot.
Yeah, I fully agree because to my audience, I want you to understand something about artists. Some of the best art comes out, whether it's fine arts, whether it's performing arts, whether it's visual arts, whether it's poetry, whether it's graphic design. Some of the best work comes out of people's pain, meaning that it's coming from a place of deep expression, meaning
Mm.
they're communicating through their art, not necessarily with their words, but with their emotions, their traumas, their just their emotions of their hands and lips, and their sometimes they can't even put it into words to where they have to put it into their art. So
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people think that artists is kind of weird and they kind of like off grid, but they're not. They just deal with a lot more, and they got a lot more burden on their shoulders because they
Yeah.
feel a lot of the brunt of society's issues because they're artists. A lot of stuff comes towards artists because they're so gifted at what they
Yeah.
do.
And that's a thing though. That's actually a thing. Like not to take away from people who don't consider they artists, because in a sense we're all artists in some shape or form. We all make art in some way, shape, or form. There's somebody I know who say they can't write a poem or do a poem, but they can make a meal out of absolutely nothing and it'd be the greatest meal you ever ate. That's art. I don't care what nobody tell you. That's art. You feel me?
Culinary.
Um, Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So you have to agreeing with you 100%. You have to be able to put yourself out. You have to be able to challenge yourself. You have to be able to push yourself. You have to be able to express yourself in whatever form it takes. Because if you don't allow yourself that space, it's going to be hard to maintain when everything around you seems very chaotic. Because we are very much in a very chaotic time, very much in a chaotic time. So you really, I implore you to find something to express yourself with because it helps you stay sane. Like I ain't gonna lie, between me and you, 2020, poetry got me through 2020. Poetry got me all the way through 2020. Whether it's me doing something, whether it's just logging on the IG and watching somebody live, like it got me through because I was able to express myself. I was able to watch other people like, look, I'm not alone. That's one of the feelings that you'll get when you hear spoken word. It's like, look, I'm not alone. I didn't know that somebody else was going through this, but the fact that this person was up here sharing their lives, sharing their experience, it like man, I guess they going through it too. So it makes it a little easier to go through because you're not the only one. So
Yeah,
no, I fully agree with what you're talking about, my brother.
yeah, man. You never know how your story might impact others. Because your testimony might be the solution to somebody else's problem. So
Yep.
you gotta understand operating in purpose. So that's one of the biggest things about this podcast and the biggest things about the vision of Royal Blossom Company is putting people back in their purpose and having them operate in purpose with vision, not with sight, with vision. Stuff that
Yes.
you can't see, that's in the spirit, that's in the tangible. Understanding where your purpose is and helping other people obtain purpose by you being your purpose, you being that beacon of hope.
Yes, I love that. I love that's exactly what it is, man. Like for anybody wondering, that's exactly what it is. Like you finding purpose helps someone else find a purpose because they see that it can be done. They see it's possible. They see it happening. So like definitely get on, get out, and get into your purpose.
Yeah. Hey, Sunshine, how you doing? Okay, so I'm gonna do something a little different before I get to my next question. Do you have any poems on deck?
Oh, of course. Always got poems on deck.
Can you read the audience one?
Oh, definitely can do that. Yes, yes. Let's go. Gotcha. All right. I was born the same day that I was meant to die. So it was meant that I stand before you. I was born the same day pneumonia consumed half my body like a flame. I was almost put on injured reserve before I got in the game. Now I can't see a future where I'm not in the game. Let me explain. I was born the same day I inherited my father's eyes, smile, and reoccurring demons. Born the same day that fluid in my lungs made it hard on me breathing. That very same day my first breath had me wheezing, born in the middle of fall. I guess it was destined to be my season. What's the reason? Asked my mom. She replies, why are you alive, Kelvin? Words never hit me so hard. No, she wasn't tearing me down. This is a question I should bring to God. The beginning was kind of odd. I mean, the Grim Reaper in the delivery room just trying to do his job. Does that make me Job in the story? Slowly losing everything, including his life, just to show God's glory. What is for me? Do you ignore me, son? No, I just want to understand where my second chance came from. That sounded dumb. I was back when pride made me a king with no kingdom. King run, drinks rum, forbidden fruit, still some, and the cycle repeat. Smile on his face, but the soul it weeps. The nurse wouldn't even leave the room. I'm steady shaking in my sleep, which became night sweats. Most nights I wake up soaking wet, still fighting whatever trying to get me. But I'm lightning, so it can't hit me. It's quite frightening. It barely missed me, was born fighting. You were always there with me. Nothing short of a miracle. After coding 3 times, who would have thought this baby would become something so lyrical, literally? Only if he casts his fears and doubts by the wayside he's been carrying since yay high. Maybe then he too could see that his life is a poem, one of the most beautiful ever written. I was born the same day I refused to die, so it was meant that I stand before you. And that's that poem.
That's good. That's good. That's good business right there, boy. That hit a little different.
Hey, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing, man. Like, and the crazy thing about that, just to give a little insight, I wrote that I want to say about a year and a half or so ago, and it went into the archives. It went straight like from finish straight into archives. Nobody's going to ever see this because in my mind at the time, I felt like going through that situation was something that would make me look weak. You know what I mean? Like going through that made me look weak. And at the time, I was like, nah, I don't want nobody to know. Like I came out secretly, baby. All this stuff happened. Like, but I found so much strength in performing it. The first time I did it, I had somebody walk up to me like, man, I can't exactly remember what he had, but he was like, yeah, man, it's a similar situation. Like they didn't know if I was gonna make it when I was born. And I'm like, it's like go back to that thing. You never know. And it's like you're not alone. Like this whole time, I'm thinking I'm the only one, went through this situation. Now I got to do everything in my power, go to the gym, run some laps, like everything in my power to make it, to distance myself from that beginning. Make myself strong instead of showing myself as weak. But the strongest thing I could have did was tell somebody that I've been through that. That was that, and I didn't know that until, like I said, like, it went straight from paper to archives. Like nobody was going to ever hear that poem. One of my homeboys convinced me to do it at one of the shows, and from that on, it's like one of my favorite ones. Is like it's my what I thought was my biggest weakness is my biggest strength, being able to tell my story.
Like she said, like Belle said, it was amazing.
Thank
Sunshine
you, bro.
said she loved it. She
Thank
said
you,
she
Sunshine.
loved the poem. So
You guys are amazing.
let me say this to you, King. So
Yes, sir.
when people have testimony, so there's no test without a testimony. Understanding your testimony is so impactful when you get over the shame. You stop
Mm,
looking at it from a shameful position and looking at it as a part of who you are and a part of the story and to the part of the man that you are becoming and the man that you are and where you're going with your vision, purpose, and talents and gifts that God given you.
yes, sir. I rock with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it, bro.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
put it in a little bit of a poetry format for you.
I
Just a
told
little.
you that we gonna get you on stage. Don't worry, we gonna get you on stage.
We're gonna get look. Yeah. I can go on stage. You know, forget it. I can go on stage too. They got me everywhere. They call me to do all kinds of presentations. I might as well put it on the list.
Add it to the resume, bit dog. Let's just
And
roll
it's
that resume
a
out.
spoken word artist, fine artist, designer, community leader, community activist, church
Yes,
leader.
sir. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the community activist. Let me see, model, actor. You know, all that. Just add it to the
Yep.
list.
That's it. That's what's on your resume. All that. That's it. That's just one word. All that. Like, what do you do? All that. That's it.
And it's funny. I got a picture on my vision board with like stuff like that. You want to see that real quick?
Yeah, yeah. Pull that out, bro.
Let me
Pull
pull
that
that
out.
out quick. Let me pull that out. Whoa. This is one of my old. This vision board little from back in the day, but still looking
Mm.
good. So that part of the vision board is right here as a author. I don't know if you can see it.
I gotta put a little closer.
All right, so can you see it right here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so right here, so you got a king, a public speaker, a helper, an artist, a painter, an author, just like that, money getter. So that's part of the vision board.
Yes,
So
sir.
so like you say, when you say adding that stuff to it, that's a big part of it. So this is one of my older vision boards. Got to update it, but a lot of this stuff is still manifesting. A lot of it has manifest, but
Yes, sir.
this is what a vision looks like. Something that people that can't see. You work from left to right. So I'm more closer to the right. So it looks this was made back in 2016, 2017. So
And
yeah,
you
man.
already on the right side.
Yeah, man. So it's about like you said, having a vision and inspiring others to help hit their purpose and everything. So my next question to you, after having a powerful poem like that, how do you think that impacts the people that you talk to? How do you think that impacted the people on this live, and how do you think your poetry has been impacting people on stage?
Mm. I believe they get to, and I said it before, but I'm firm with a lot of the words I say. It's you understand that you're not alone. You understand that there's somebody somewhere going through something. Like my mama used to say, it's not as bad as somebody else going through right now. Like whatever you, I'm not whatever your bad is, it is bad for you for sure. Can't take that away from you, but it's not as bad as somebody else going through something else. Um, so having that idea of knowing that you're not alone, knowing that there's somebody out there, knowing like even if you catch me doing a poem or something and they connect with you directly and you just want to talk to me like, hey, I just need to talk about what happened to me, or because it's so closely to you. I've had experiences like that where people just like, man, like I told the guy walked up like it was the same situation, like because you kind of need that outlet, you kind of need to know. So I believe letting people know that they're not alone. I believe it gives a different perspective. Um, Being an introvert, I'm very observant. I'm an observer of life. So a lot of my perspectives, a lot of my poems, a lot of how I come at things, topics, and ideas can be a bit off the wall sometimes. But I want to challenge the way people think. I want to challenge the way I think. So I want to challenge the way people think. I want you to challenge the way you see things. So I want to give you that perspective. I also want you to walk away feeling motivated and uplifted, knowing that you can conquer more things than you even thought you can conquer. Being the testimony myself, because before I started this, I couldn't tell you 7 years later I'm gonna be sitting here on this podcast talking about this last 7 years I've been doing this. Like I want people to take away that you can do it too. Whatever it is, you can do it too.
Yes,
It's,
sir.
you have to
Absolutely.
start it and you have to push through, but you can do it. You can do it too.
You can do it too. Sunshine asks, "Do you have a book with your poems?"
I do. I have a book I released a few years ago called Father Son Chronicles, which is on Amazon. I wrote it. It's a chapbook, a few poems in it about fatherhood, the different dynamics of being a father, different relationships. Me, my father, my kids, me, my kid. This it's like three generations of men. Just so it's a collection of poems, just talking about my experience as a father and a son.
Oh, man, that's good. That's good work. I got to cop me a copy. Yeah, definitely gonna cop me a copy. Yeah, what's going on, Jarrell? Good to see you. I'm glad that you tuning in. Sunshine said, "Can you drop the information?" Yeah, we'll drop the information at the end. Yeah, we'll drop the information. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, I think a lot of men will want to hear what you have to say. I
Yeah,
think the
I,
words that come out of your mouth are very powerful and potent, and they nourish the soul.
it's high praise, brother. All praise to the Most High, man.
So speaking of, operating in your gift. Now, as artists, this is what another part where artists mess up too, the business and monetary component. So I want to
Mm.
ask you, have you came up with a monetary component for your poetry and your spoken word artistry?
Crazy that you ask, because it's actually been the hardest part of the journey is making it, making it a monetary gain. When I first started, I was doing it for the love of it. I mean, still do it for the love of it. Don't get me wrong, still do it for the love of it. But I was doing it for the love of it for a few years before I realized that there's a business component side of it. It's not necessary. Well, it's monetary, but it's not necessarily money. It's branding. You have to establish a brand if you're trying to move around and travel and stuff with it. So I have took me a few years, but I've have actually set that up to where I do benefit monetarily from this. I've been a couple shows, been a couple cities, got paid for it, and it it's a aspect as artists that we have to understand. Like hopes and dreams ain't gonna feed you. So but it's just not. It's nothing wrong with having them, but it's not gonna feed you. And if you're doing something this revealing, this giving, you you it's okay to make something from it. Because if you want to continue to do this and you want to move around, it's still going to have to be funded. Like it still has to be funded. Like, hey, I want to go to Chicago to perform. How you gonna fund that? You know what I mean? Like that could be taken care of with that monetary or business aspect to it. Like you have to understand that you're not getting paid. Um, Getting paid doesn't take away the love from it. Because that was my problem. Like I felt like getting paid from it made it a job and less like my passion, something I'm passionate about. Um, but I had to understand that getting paid doesn't take away the love from it. It kind of adds. It helps me spread out a little further. It helps me do things that I couldn't have done. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I work, but bills be billing. So when I want to do this, it's nice to have some type of aspect to it. Like, hey, I gotta drive 2 hours to get to the show. It's nice to understand that you put in the time, you put in the work, you put in the effort. So it's okay to get paid. Like they're not paying for your appearance. They're paying for all the work you did leading up to your appearance. And that's a part I had to learn. So there's definitely a business model, like a money aspect to it. And it doesn't take away from the art. It doesn't. Um, Money doesn't change you. It makes you the person that you already is. You just get to do a couple more things with it.
It is. So I want to elaborate a little bit on that too. So
Please.
a lot of our community, like especially when we're like teenagers, and our parents be talking about you don't want to be an artist, you don't want to be somebody who draw and all that other stuff. They parents, they just trying to look at you from their best interest, right? Now
Mhm.
understanding you putting a glass ceiling on your child's potential because God gave everybody something different, and understanding when God gives you something different, that person has to operate in that gift and that calling because they're gonna end up being miserable. And you don't want to put a limitation on your children based off of your point of view of the world. Your
Mm.
your outcome is not going to necessarily mean that they're gonna have that outcome. Okay, and that's a lot. That's another part of our expression and oppression of what we
Yep.
go through as artists. Our parents are some of the biggest gatekeepers to our success because of their worldview, their age, the way they grew up in the 70s and 80s, how their parents treated them. Just extending them a little bit of grace, but I'm not you. We in different times. This is a different decade. This is a different season. This is different opportunities. The opportunities are different from when you were growing up.
Yes.
Same thing, your children are going to have different opportunities than us. So with that type of understanding, we're getting rid of this generation of artists are getting rid of that starving artist, meaning that you're
Yeah.
so gifted, you're so talented, but you can't get a wrap around the successful people. You don't have the financial education, which what you should do, as I'm speaking to the audience, I'm speaking to you as well. Get yourself a library of financial literacy books, self-help books, personal development books to work on your character, to work on your spirituality, also to work on your business knowledge and how finances work. Especially, starting off with Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant by him as well. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Okay, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. There's so many different books. I got a library full of books on, finance, personal development, and leadership. And understanding, once you apply that with your arts, you're gonna be an unstoppable force. So you're gonna get to that stuff to where you're gonna be at conventions. Like, for example, like with spoken word artists, your target market should be jazz festivals. First one, they come up there, they listen to jazz because they the vibe, the neo soul. They listen to R&B, coffee shop type vibe, jazz festivals. Them jazz festivals, you might get in contact with a celebrity. You might meet India Irie. You might meet
Yeah.
Jill Scott.
Right.
You might,
Let
I'm saying,
me
you
mess
might,
around, get on the stage with Jill Scott, man. We'll tear the building down, man. Let me mess around, get on stage with Jill Scott.
you might, you might come across Sade. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Eric Benet. You never know. But the problem is you got to put yourself in that position. You
That's
got to
fair.
work. There's a lot of internal work, so the external work that you do is successful too. Because a lot of artists are successful externally, meaning that everything is their work is good, it's phenomenal, but behind the scenes, everything is just their foundation is all off.
Yep.
Foundation is terrible. They ain't got no financial education. Their lives is shambles. Their bills is behind. Sometimes they be homeless. A lot of artists be homeless and destitute. Just just hitting hard times. But it's all about the mindset and the mentality. Going back to my point earlier, by stick coming out of your comfort zone, meaning that you doing everything that's uncomfortable is going to get you to the next level. Because Les Brown says this: you do what's hard, your life will be easy. You do what's
Mm.
easy, your life will be hard.
Yeah.
So when you see people always taking shortcuts, when they done taking the shortcuts, they end up having to do double, triple, and quadruple work. Now, when you do the hard work and you go on stage and you speak to an audience of 5,000 people, you already did what was hard because that was uncomfortable. But what it did was put you outside your comfort zone and put you in front of 5,000 people, and it builds your confidence to do that show, that same type of crowd again, plus some more.
Hmm. I agree. I agree with that 100%. I
Spoken word
definitely agree.
about spoken word at the Apollo.
I'm with it. Hey, side note, I did a wedding engagement one time. That was nice. That was definitely nice. Like he wanted to propose, and he wanted to have a couple poets just pop up out of nowhere and just do love poems. I'm like, man, you sick, man. I gotta take that idea. You a smart brother.
Yeah, that's smart. So Sonia asks, "What is your all-time and favorite piece that you've written, and can we hear it?"
Oh, sheesh. Oh, all time favorite. Ah, that's that's a difficult question because these poems are like my babies, my kids, and you can't technically have a favorite kid. Um, one of the ones that really helped me the most was the glossophobia poem. Because that was for me, that was a switch, that was a break. So a lot of stuff I'm telling you today, it was like after that moment. Like the first few years, I was out. I was popping. I was doing, I was doing shows and stuff like that, but I was still so because of that aspect, that being afraid to stand in front of somebody and be like, hey, this is what I do. So once I did that poem, it kind of broke the levee for me and let all this other stuff kind of like flood in. That's when I really took off. So that one I can say changed my life the most. I can't say favorite because then I'll be disrespecting all my other poems. But that
Yeah. All right.
is definitely the one that I hold nearest and dearest to my heart.
Okay. So yeah, we can hear it. You can do that one at the end. You do that
I
one.
got you.
Okay. So true. Just like the entrepreneurs ideas of entrepreneurship, that's true. Good to know your target audience. Absolutely. So yeah,
Agreed.
that's true. As far as just knowing what you got to do as far as an artist and knowing where you're going, and it's some good stuff. It's some real good stuff as far as what we're talking about, and
Yeah.
I'm truly loving how this dialogue is going. It's also educating people about the different things that artists go through, and then how the challenges and the difficulties, and everything that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you go through something so you can tell somebody how not to.
Okay, so I think you answered this question earlier. You have a book of poetry. You said you have a book of poetry, right?
Yes. Yes. It's the Father Son Chronicles. It was another one of because we talked off camera a couple, before we got on camera. It was one of those another one of those things that I was going to just keep to myself. Again, I don't think nobody gonna like it. I don't think nobody cares. It actually took another father to be like, hey man, this is necessary because we don't as fathers we don't necessarily find ourselves in position to express what fatherhood really means. Of course, poets all over the world probably get that opportunity, but everyday fathers don't necessarily get that opportunity to express what fatherhood actually, means. Like becoming a father was without a doubt one of the best things that ever happened to me. It really got me honed in on a lot of things I want to do. And I technically that's why I still do what I do now. Like my what I want to leave them is another extension of what I'm currently doing. Like right now, most people see the poetry, but they don't see the behind the scenes, the foundation, the bricks I'm laying down. So when I'm, in the dirt, they still have something to that they can continue to build on top of. So, but that mindset, that idea didn't come until I had, till I had them. And it was more just me. So having that switch, that shift in life, from not having kids to having kids really helped. It really helped me get through a lot of this. It forced me more or less to get outside my comfort zone. Because I could have just been, I mean, I work, but I could have just been regular working, not really trying to expand in the manner that I'm expanding now. But once they came, it's like this ain't gonna be enough. Like I want to leave something, and that kind of just kick started this whole quest to build a legacy, to leave something behind.
Yeah, man. So that's something that you expound on is the writing of books and talking to other fatherhood, especially in our community, and understanding how impactful that is. There is a few different books on fatherhood, but there's no like poetry talking about that. So that you might have something bigger than you in your arsenal that you don't know how powerful you got it until you understand
Yes, sir.
releasing it and telling people about it, because fatherhood is a big component in the community. So like when we start talking about all the stigmas in the community, so let me tell you this. So black fatherhood is one of the most unique fatherhoods on the planet because we're the most involved. 67% of children that have 67% of fathers are involved in their children's lives. That means we sit down and eat with them, we clothe them, help them with their homework, participate, be active and involved in their lives. Meaning
Hmm.
that we're more involved than any father on the planet, despite what media say, despite what some of our women even say about us. That stigma has definitely changed since the 70s and 80s.
Yes, I agree.
Fathers provide covering, support, nurture, caring, compassion, nurturing. He's a sustainer. He
Leadership.
follows over to all the women around him. He's the foundation of the family. So when you saying stuff like that, when you saying the foundation, he's Abba. He's the bottom of the family. It means he carries the weight. Just like when you say, give all your problems to the Lord, all the glory belongs to him, like
Hmm.
our Father in heaven. Also, the glory belongs to us because God gave us the title of Father. So, and the Bible says, you know, you have a nation that's in chaos. Nation that's in chaos, return them to not their mothers, return them to their fathers.
Mm.
So your book, whatever gems and jewels are in that book, you need to go ahead and get that in there. You need to get that in Amazon. I think you say you had it on Amazon, but you need to
Yes,
be
sir. It's
promoting.
on Amazon now. Yeah. I'm working on a workshop for it.
Yeah,
A workshop and a workbook. So it's gonna like the book was released years ago, but I'm getting to a space where it's like, all right, we can pull that back a little bit and add to what we already got to it.
yep,
So I'm working to make it an entire program.
yeah, man. Fatherhood is about, also counsel, being able to counsel the
Yeah,
people around you, help the people around you. You know,
I agree.
fathering is about a covering. We are the covering of our women and children. So without a covering, where is the community without the covering? You can't have
You
nothing.
teaching
No
some real
window,
stuff tonight,
no
man.
roof. You can't have no roof. You can't have nothing without the foundation inset. Because the foundation carries everything. It carries the weight.
See, I told you, we gonna get you on stage, man. We gonna get you on stage. We gonna get you on there.
Yeah, I can
Gonna
go
be
on
right
there.
up there with me. Doing it. You gonna be right up there with me.
So I should do something like fathers. Fathers are the ones that take care of the children. Despite what communities say, fathers do for their children. Fathers do for their community. Fathers communicate. Fathers protect, provide, nurture, sustain. They continue their legacy. They leave a wealth for their children's children. They leave their legacy in the air. They create tradition. Women pass down the culture, but we are the foundation. The seeds are from us. Us meaning the men. We're the foundation. We're the glory of the community. We're the alphas. We're the omegas of the community. We're the ones that provides everything, not just structure, but emotional support. Men do provide emotional support, meaning that it ain't just women that do the support. We support as well, financially, spiritually, mentally. So we're the spiritual leaders, the spirituality leaders of our community, spirituality leaders of our community and in our households by letting God lead us spiritually.
See, like you have no idea how many people really need to hear those just those words in general. We don't get too much of that. To be honest with you, we don't get too much of that.
Yep.
So
Yep. It's okay, man. We don't get enough credit because to think about it, if you think about it in truth, because the fathers wasn't the most important component of the when I was talking to Attorney Rubin a couple of months ago, we had a family law. We was talking about family law and custody, child support, and
mhm,
the courts wouldn't fight so hard against us
mm,
because you got all the studies show that when you got women raising kids by themselves and you got men raising kids by themselves, the children fare better with the fathers raising the kids. That it's a little bit of disadvantages between the two parent household, but the outcomes of a father has this almost a similar statistics as a two parent household.
it's a crazy thing to think about, bro.
It's the truth because the difference is, I'm gonna tell you what the key difference is. We're designed to carry the weight of the family. We're designed to carry the stresses, the workload. We can come home 60 hours a week, still come in, help the kids with their homework, prepare dinner, and stop. We wouldn't be yelling at them and stuff. And a lot of times women is just not designed. They're not designed to do that. Go on a workforce, work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and then come home and pour into them. Because how the order works, God pours into me, I pour into her, she pours into the children. She has nobody pouring into her. So she has nothing left. She's pouring from an empty cup. So that's where all that stress comes from.
Gotta have that balance, man. Gotta have all the components in the right place.
All components, all components, all components. So yeah, man. So definitely, I encourage you to get that book.
Yes,
Get
sir.
that book. Get that book out. Start talking about it. Say y'all vision. Say yo. Say amen. We dropping Juice Bell. Appreciate you. Healing session. Heal Go Power Release as 100 pineapple. Cool. So I want to ask you this.
Yes, sir.
So I know this might throw you for a little bit. This might have you thinking just a little bit. What would you say as far as Neil's soul? That goes hand in hand with poetry and spoken artists. What would you say? What artists would you say you identify the most and why?
Uh, uh, I would have to say, um, I would have to say Anthony Hamilton.
Okay,
Um,
it's a good one.
I think not from a voice. I'm not saying it. Don't let's not create that false narrative. Um, but the way, the passion in which he sings, like the soul in which he sings from, how a lot of his songs are very relatable. It's not far fetched. It's something that you really like. You could like. I hear a lot of his stuff, and I'd be like, man, I can. Yeah, I've been through that. I see that. I can see myself going through that. So it's a passion that he sings with, and it's the way he uses his words and way he like pulls you in with him. Like I relate to what you're saying, and that's kind of how I want to give out my art, my poetry is. I want you to look at it as something that you can connect with, something that you either seen, or whatever the case may be. I want you to relate to what I'm going through, so you can see, I guess, a different side of what it looks like. Sometimes we're going through that tunnel and it's dark and we don't get to see the light. So I'm on this side of it, so I can tell you about it, so I can let you know that is.
And he cut out for a minute. It's all good. We have a little bit of technical
Oh,
difficulty.
be good. Technical difficulties. My apologies, guys. That was
That's all
me.
good, man. It's you know that's how you know you're doing the right thing. We be having a little bit of service disruption. Keep on going, brother. Keep
Try
on.
to stop us from being great. So yeah, Anthony Hamilton. One of my favorite songs is well, two of my favorite songs, Her Heart and Pray for Me. Um, those two songs hit me directly. Like it strikes me straight in the heart. Her Heart. I don't know if anybody's heard it. This might be a spoiler if you didn't. It's about a relationship that he kind of didn't really, he kind of took for granted until she was gone, and now he's singing and crying about it. I've done that. I've, I've done that. And pray for me is pretty straightforward. Like I'm not a perfect person. I just hope somebody praying for me. You know what I mean? So just that raw that raw power that comes with just those simple ideas that how he presents it. So I would have to say Anthony Hamilton.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's a good deal. You know, yeah, he don't got the best vocals like you said, but he has a lot of stuff that you can relate to where he's very versatile in R&B, hip hop, neo soul, so he can chop it up and go. He can come at different angles, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a good choice. That's
yeah,
definitely a
it's
good
a
choice.
soul, man. Soul like soul, and it's the soul that comes from his music. So it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I would say for me specifically, I would say Sade as far as new soul
Ooh,
for me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really fat because the way her melodies sound, the way she articulates about just positivity and her relationship with her partner, just how she looks at life, how she talks about the ups and downs. She talks about sometimes I don't feel like I deserve you, but I do deserve you. I know I can. We can make this thing work. It's like she talks about a lot of romance, which is one of the missing components in today's society, having like a lot of this different, uh, how do you put it, relationship relationship values. I mean, having that classic, meet up, build something from scratch, and spend a lifetime with somebody, like that type of energy. Like we don't really see that type of neo soul like that no more. It's like even it's crazy. Like a lot of her songs, some of her best songs were in the '80s. She got good stuff in the '90s, but like a lot of her stuff was in that time period. And it's crazy. It's been 40 years. He laughing too.
no, no, cause like like hearing it and saying is like man, like time has been flying.
1984 was that year, boy. A lot of stuff came out in 1984.
No, that is a good choice, man. That is a really good choice.
Yeah, I mean, you can do so many things, different things. Where it means you can get your thoughts together. You can put yourself at a place of peace. You can go to sleep to her music. You can dance to her music. You can draw to her music, sculpt, paint, do spoken word to her music. You can do a little bit of everything with her music. So, and she has a
I
lot
agree.
that's she has a lot of things that you can relate to in a relationship too. She has a big thing about a coffee shop vibe too.
Yeah, yeah.
She has a coffee shop vibe too, to where her Nina Simone, they have that same type of energy as well. So to where
That's so.
they just talking from within. They expressing how they feel within, and the crazy thing is so many people can relate to it, but those are the more neo soul is more so how I see it and interpret it, and how I see artists express it. This stuff is not that it's not worldwide. It's very popular in Europe. It's very popular here, but it's not like hip hop
Yeah,
or heavy metal or anything. It's the industry is big, but it's big enough to where it's on that straight and narrow. If that makes sense, it's like it's there, but it's straight and narrow. It's a certain type of phenotype of people that you're gonna see there. You're gonna see people there casually dressed,
yeah,
well
yeah.
spoken, honest, entrepreneurs, like people that just don't want to be in the limelight, but they will go out to have a good time. People that are low key, they go to
Yeah,
like that type of energy. Like you don't never
yeah.
see no conflict of interest at no neo soul you don't never see nobody get into a fight.
No,
Two men shoot somebody at a coffee shop. You never hear nothing about that because
no, everybody just hanging out.
it's a type of energy. That energy is positive energy.
Yes,
It's
it is.
something that you can take in and embrace. Everybody ain't on 10,000 ready to got the gun in the air. Everybody coming in there with the That's the Don Julio crowd. That's the wine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
espresso red wine. That's that type
We
of
all sitting back to enjoy the show, man. We ain't trying to do nothing crazy tonight.
that part right there, man. Like that's some of the things that that promotes positivity. It's funny that type of stuff doesn't get that much publicity because it's something that's uplifting our community. They all, oh man, they uplifting the community. We can't have that. We gotta
Yeah,
suppress.
it's truthful. It's truthful as I could be, man. Drama sells. Drama and chaos sells.
It does.
It's not it neo soul ain't drama filled. It ain't chaos filled. Like so it's not gonna get the recognition or the credit it deserves for the quality that it gives because it's not as drama filled. Like you can't I don't think I know somebody who can sit there mad listening to a neo soul song. Like nobody can sit there mad. What you mad for, man? This is beautiful music. What fix your face.
Yeah, and if you walk in there, man, you're gonna change your attitude within 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, because like you said, it's a very positive, peaceful energy, and of course, we know that's not necessarily the message that always get pushed first.
Right, Maxwell? He
He
agreed too.
agree.
So I'm like, it's the truth. You know, that's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. So tell people as we close, tell people how they can find you, how they can get a copy of this book. And my last question before you do those closing remarks, where do you usually perform and speak at?
Oh, oof. Truthfully, anywhere with a mic or opportunity, I ain't even gonna lie.
There's a mic.
I, mic and the opportunity. You don't even gotta have the mic. Just the opportunity. I did it in inside of a grocery store. I've performed at parks, bars, coffee shops, lounges. Um, I did a stage one time. Uh, honestly, anywhere, I consider myself a bit of a missionary. My position and purpose in life is to move around and speak and tell stories, tell testimonies. Not all of them is mine. Most of them are, but there are some people I've met along my life who haven't, who don't know how to do what I do, and they
Right.
ask like, "Hey man, can you kind of help me tell this story?" So like I move and I tell testimony. So wherever there's a mic and an opportunity, you'll probably find King Soul.
Okay. So how do the people find you, and what's your link to your book?
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram at it's just underscore King Soul. The it's just part you gotta put in there too. It's all one word. It's just underscore soul. Facebook, you can find me the legendary storyteller or Kelvin Dupree if I'm in trouble. Again, if I'm in trouble, it's correct. Um that's kind of mainly where I'm at right now is Facebook and Instagram. I'm looking to expand this brand a little bit more. That's the work that we're doing right now. That's the behind the scenes stuff that's going on. So as those things happen, I'll definitely keep you updated. The link for the Amazon for the book on Amazon, I will have to I'll put it in the I'll put it in the comments because I have to go pull it down, pull it out. So I'll put it in the comments. So next time you come and watch this video, which you should come back and watch this video, guys, I'm gonna put it in the comments. You'll be able to use that link to get to the book.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So anything else that you would like to tell the audience before we close out? Questions, comments, and concerns?
Uh, just do it. Just do it. Whatever you going back and forth in your head about, whatever you feel like the world ain't gonna be about or understand or they ain't gonna like, it's not for them. It's not. What we do is not like what I do. As much as I love doing this for other people, I do it more so for myself. It keeps me honest. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me moving along my purpose. So cut the outside noise out. Cut it out. most people ain't gonna be where this is gonna take you. So they can't see it, they can't hear it, they don't know, they can't smell the vision, they can't taste the vision. It's not for them. So if you're given this idea or this vision, it was given to you on purpose. Do it. I'm telling you, it's probably be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Don't even worry about what people talking about, because most people gonna hate you because you're great. Most people gonna love you because you're great. You ain't gonna be able to please them all.
That's good. A good way to close out, man. Understanding soul. Understand you got soul. You are a soul. God to bless souls. God gave
Yes,
you a
sir.
soul. Understanding souls change the world. Souls change everything. How do you bless a soul? Souls are who you are. Soul is the main component of who you are. And souls is the mind, body, and spirit. Understanding the soul, understanding who you are in your soul. Nobody can conquer your soul unless you let them conquer your soul. You got soul, I got soul, the world has soul. Let your soul be the beacon of light to change the world around you. Once you discover how unique you are, you begin to light up the world and change the world around you. Quote from Mr. Pineapple, Terrence Ramses himself, the CIO of Right Brand Clothing, now known as the Royal Blossom Company, also to restore, build, and create, to restore the wealth and resources back into our communities, to build up the youth and children that are coming behind us, to create a unique commonwealth of like-minded entrepreneurs to put them back in their God-given purpose and talents. And our brand values are to have fun with all the people around you, to be spirited and shed your life around everybody around you, to be passionate about all your artistic abilities that God has placed into you. Until next week at 7:30, we'll see you later. All right, out, over and out, Mr. Pineapple. This was a great live. Also, like, share, and subscribe to the Royal Blossom Company. Also, Royal Blossom 2018 on YouTube. I appreciate you, Mr. King Soul, for coming on, and we had a great time. And I'll see you later. Over and out. Peace.
Peace.